In this video, I'm going to be discussing my must-have items for ultramarathon running. These are the things that I have figured out over the years. A lot of them are common sense and things that you just kind of accumulate and figure out as you transition from running, I'm going to say normal distances because no distances are normal. You're already abnormal if you're a runner. So let's just get that out of the way immediately. So if you're running shorter road races, you may not accumulate a lot of this stuff. You may, as you progress through the miles, as you progress through the races, as you progress into trail running or ultra running. So I'm going to share quickly, as quick as I can. This is going to be like a show and tell. I hope you enjoy this. These are just things I've kind of figured out. And again, this is not an exhaustive list. This is not everything, but this is the major things I could think of to share. So let's go. So first and foremost, clothing is very important when it comes to ultra marathons. You could be running in the desert, in the mountains, in all kinds of weather. Layers are super important. So a good tech shirt, long shirt, hat, glasses, running jacket. Mizuno was so kind to me over the years. They've sent me a lot of these items, but like this jacket right here is a Mizuno jacket, run jacket. I've used this in a lot of races because it gets cold and you need to be able to quickly remove layers or add layers as you go up mountains, as day turns to night, as night turns to day. There's just so much to think about, and you don't want to be too hot or too cold, but you always want to be prepared because you definitely don't want to quit a race because of hyperthermia or overheating. And I've had to drop races for both of those. So it does happen. Gloves, a good glove is always key to try to keep your hands in good shape so they don't go numb. These are some lighter gloves. These are New Balance gloves. I love these. I wear these almost every single day, especially during the winter. But I also have thicker gloves in here that are a little more insulated. This is a little more of a thick glove. So if it's down in the 30s or below, I got to have a thicker glove on, and then transitioning into like almost like a ski glove if you need to keep your hands warm. Shorts and tights. This is something I've talked about. There we go. Shorts and tights, combos of that. I run in predominantly shorts. I rarely wear long tights in races unless it's going to be super windy and super cold just to protect the skin. But these are some, again, Mizuno. They've sent me these over the years. Thank you, Mizuno. And I've cut the liner out to help with chafing. And if you've watched my chafing video on the channel and want to learn about how to prevent that, that helps. That combo with the running tights here helps quite a bit with just being able to hold your phone in certain spots. Some people have like the holders that go around you. I have one of those too over here where you stick your phone in it. You can put your phone on the side here, and it just really helps with chafing. So chafing is a big deal. You gotta prevent chafing and blisters and things like that. So those are things you're gonna have to figure out. So a running jacket, glove, hat, glasses, and hats that are extremely important. A lot of times you're gonna have to cover your ears, so you're gonna have some sort of combination of. I used to wear buff, and the buff can help keep your neck warm just enough. Like if you're wearing like this kind of lighter combo here, and you want to just stay a little bit warmer, you could put the buff on, and if you need to, you can pull it up over your ears. I do that quite a bit. Hats. Different types of hats, the mesh, flat brim hats, the trucker hats where you can turn it around and kind of have the wind going in the top. The closed in hat gets hot for me, especially when it's sunny and hot. So I like a hat that can breathe. So those are some must haves from a clothing and apparel type stuff. GoPro. Well, because I record all my races. So if you've noticed, I do this a lot. I record all of my races, which is fantastic, which helps feed the data and information for folks to research races. And that is a must-have, is researching races. But I do that. I record my races, and it kind of shows the terrain and gives people an idea of what they're going to be facing. And I've done that for a very long time. But GoPro, this is what I film all my races with, like a GoPro 9 with a little pod. I need a longer pole. I had one and it broke, but this is the one I use. I run out with this out in front of me like this. I have a GoPro 8. I'm behind the times on that stuff. So if you want to record your adventures, you don't have to be like a social influencer or anything like that and want to post it on YouTube. You can if you want for your own memories, if you just want to record it. But these are super, I'm going to say super light. I'm used to running with these. I know some people like to be minimalistic, and I get a lot of comments before like, you'd be faster if you weren't trying to film. I can't help that. I do this. So if I'm paying for a race and I have a YouTube channel, I might as well record it. So this is super, super nice. You know, the GoPro 9s and above have like the screen on the front, so you can kind of frame yourself. You know, you can see yourself in this area right here. Pretty good. I love that part. A must have for me. Now, shoes are very particular. People are very dogmatic about the types of shoes that work for them, especially in trail running. When it comes to trail running, when I get over like the 50K, I need like kind of a max cushion. Your feet get beat up, and I like being able to have something that really protects my feet. So I do run in several different types. I have the Mizuno Mujin 9, which I have back there. Let me go grab them real quick. Hold on real quick. These are a pair of brand new Mujin 9. I haven't worn yet. I have another pair. Super aggressive. Tread on these, relatively light, waterproof feeling, keep, wicking, a lot of overlays that kind of help you with protection of the foot. These are good, I think, for shorter races, trail races. I would think these would be good up to like a 50K. Some people may have some tougher feet and they'll wear it for longer races, but I like to use those for shorter races and training. I mean, I don't worry about slipping at all on these things. These things are like alligator teeth. So I have the Hoka Zenals. Hoka Zenals right here. These are a light, less aggressive tread, as you can see. But I would use these on kind of a more of a buffed out trail. They're a faster shoe. You're not carrying around all that weight. I love these shoes. I've been running in them for a couple years now since they came out. Great shoe, but again, lighter, buffed out trails. Those Mizuno Mujin 9s would be more of technical trails, climbing and things like that, muddy. I probably wouldn't wear these in a very muddy environment and not super technical. But if it's like fire roads and things like that, these would work very well. But again, that's more of a shorter race for me. That is. Some of you wear, non-max cushion shoes for ultras, and you're just fine. This is my preference. I also run in predominantly when I'm running these 50 miles, 100-mile races. This is the Hoka Speed Goat 5. I've run a couple marathons or ultra marathons in these. These are the Speed Goat 4s. I have about 800 miles in these, and I have another pair of those, maybe two more pairs of those that I've run recently. And I really love the Speed Goat 4. You'll learn, if you're a runner, obviously you're going to learn how attached you can get to a type of shoe. And I am very attached to the Speed Goat series of shoes. They just work really well, especially the Speed Goat 4. I wish I could just constantly get the Speed Goat 4. I would never change the shoe at all. Vests. Vests is another thing that you have to trust. Ultra marathons, you spend a lot of time with something rubbing on you or it's on your body. You need it to work. You need to make sure you understand how it's going to affect your body. Little things that you're like, well, this shoe kind of rubs me a little bit, but it's not that bad. And you've only tested it for 5 miles. We'll compound that times 10. It's going to end up to your foot bleeding or you're bleeding up here. I've had packs before that just rubbed a little bit and you don't really notice it. And all of a sudden you have a scar on your sides. So I don't get made fun of, but I do get a lot of comments from, I run in the Scott Jurek. I think this is his vest from like 9 years ago. If you look back on this channel, I've been running in this since the very beginning of this channel. So it's been about 9 years. This vest works for me. It uses the old school bottles. I like the hard bottles. I've only had to worry about the tips freezing up in them. That's the only downside of this, but this vest works for me. And, when it comes to the latest and greatest, I don't always care about that. I need what works. And if the latest and greatest works, that's what I'll go to. But this vest right here is made by Ultimate Direction. Again, I've done review videos on this, and this thing is at least 9 years old. I use it for every single ultra. I have a new one I bought. And I haven't really gotten it dialed in. I've run a couple times in it. It's got the soft bottle flasks in it. I know some of them have like the extenders, and I'm going to be trying some other vests. It's going to be about time if I can start trying. Usui is another vest that I want to try out. Great vest. They don't bounce and slide and things like that. And, the bottle configuration, I'm just not a super huge fan of the soft flasks, but I think it can be sold. Getting old school. I like what works, but this is a great vest, brand new. And I think I've used it twice. I don't know if I've given it a fair shot, but still it's an ultimate direction vest. But I'm going to keep trying it. I'm still going to try to dial it in and see if I can get it to work. But again, get what works for you, not what works for somebody else. You have to try things out. I know that's difficult when you're spending the amount of money on these vests, because these vests are $100 to $200, and they're not cheap investments just to constantly keep trying. But I'm a larger chested type guy. So I need something that can expand out, get the right size. You got to make sure you get the right size vest and measure your chest around and things like that. Headlamps. I don't have headlamps to show you, but the head torches, extremely important, especially if you're doing the longer races or races that start early in the morning and it's dark. A lot of times that's a requirement for races. Most races, it's a requirement to carry water in some form or fashion. When I first started racing, I wasn't a vest person. I was a handheld, so I would just run with the bottles. Where is it? These handhelds, and again, these have changed quite a bit. They make ones that are a little more ergonomic and fit your hand. But I just ran like this, and I still do this. This is a lot of times when I go out, I'm not wearing a vest. If I'm just going on a training run, I just carry one bottle, especially if I know water is going to be down the road. I can just fill up again. So those are quite useful. Okay, headlamps, super important for obvious reasons. And again, a lot of races will require them. So investing in one you can recharge. I have one that uses batteries. I like that because I don't want to have to buy multiple headlamps and keep them charged and things like that. Like right now, if I have a headlamp that'll last me 10, 12 hours, I just have extra batteries just in case. It works. Again, what works is what you need to have. Gaiters. Uh-oh. Put some here. So gaiters are super important. If you've ever run a race where it's a lot of gravel and pebbles and leaves and things like that, you'll know really quickly how much you need gaiters. So I wear these. I don't wear them when I'm training very much. Usually it's not long enough for it to really bother me that much. But if I'm running and train that I know is going to absolutely not be fun, I will put them on. But races are 100% of the time I put these gaiters on. They kind of go over the shoe. They go over the top of the shoe and strap underneath your shoe. A lot of them come with these extra little bungee cord things to go underneath the shoe because those will deteriorate, as you can see. I'm going to need to get some more. I got these from REI. You don't need to get super expensive ones. All it has to do is keep rocks and pebbles and things from getting in your shoe. The Yeti 100, this is a must. You're running on a lot of trail that has little tiny pebbles in it, and you'll be stopping to get pebbles out of your shoe a lot, or you're going to keep them in your shoe and they're going to give you blisters and it's going to suck. So make sure you do that. Hiking poles. I would suggest, not everyone uses these and don't use them in every single race. Obviously 100 milers are just the second half of the race. So I have some black diamond poles here. They like the carbon fiber type, ultra light type things. These are 130 centimeters. These are the black diamond distance carbon Z's. And I think I have links in my description to most all of this equipment that I have. So you can go look at it on Amazon or wherever it's purchased from. These are necessity if you're doing a lot of climbing, if you're going to be having difficulty standing, or if you have some issues with staying upright in later parts of races. They help with stability, not just climbing, just giving you that extra confidence as you're getting through the trails, especially at night. It's kind of nice to have. This past 100, I didn't use these. I ended up giving them off to Joe. Joe had some super heavy ones that were like old school, like hiking poles, and they were not staying up. So any putting time weight on them, they would kind of sink and telescoping into themselves. Telescoping. Yeah, that's what it is. These kind of all snap together, which is funny when you're running an ultra and you're tired trying to figure out how these go back together, because I don't use them all the time. So it seems like I forget every time. Trekking poles, super important. Lube. Let's get to this. So lube is super important. Electrolytes and sodium tabs. So I usually take whatever I get. So I am part of the runner box. So say this. Again, I have links to this in the bottom if you want to. This is like a subscription box. So basically, I get the runner box every 2 months, and this has tons and tons and tons of just running related stuff, lube, electrolytes, gear, just so much stuff. And I don't end up having to buy any of this stuff. So there's so much of these little things that, body wipes, nutrition. There's just so much that you get with these these subscription boxes. And again, you can check those out. I have plenty of videos on those if you want to look those up. But lube, I label my lube. This one's clearly labeled running lube, so nobody mistakes this for lube that they need to put on their face or lips or anything else. It probably is cross-contaminated, so you need to think about that too when you're running. And yeah, you could just imagine. I use Body Glide and Squirrel's Nut Butter. I really don't. Again, these things come in the runner's box a lot, so I don't really have to buy that often. Those are super important. You need to lube everything before you start running. And lube places you don't even think you need to lube. And if you don't know you need to lube them, you'll figure it out in a race. They will let you know. You will definitely get some feedback on where you need to rub that stuff in. Body wipes for kind of hygiene out on the trails if you have to go to the bathroom or just you're getting dirt around your neck or face and you just want to wipe. These type of things. Again, these came in the runner box too, so I constantly get these types of things, and just kind of keeps me restocked. Very important, super light. You can put them in your pack and just have it just in case there's an emergency and you're out in the woods. Believe me, you'd like to have something to wipe with. It's again, self-explanatory. We all know. Fuel, calories, and electrolytes. I just showed you the electrolytes. This stuff is very particular to a person. A lot of people can't do gels. A lot of people taking a lot of calories through their liquids. This is something you need to think about when you're getting into what works with you. Having to take in food and calories every half an hour to 45 minutes to hour. You just need to figure out what works with your stomach. What works with your stomach on a half marathon or marathon might not work at a 50-mile race or a 100-mile race. You may get tired of something that works for 50 miles, 60, 70, 80 miles. And then now you need to figure out something else. And a lot of these aid stations in these races are phenomenal. The volunteers are phenomenal and they know what works. A lot of the same things as carbs, fats, carbohydrates, sugars, and things like that, they start to pump into you. So most all aid stations are covered in that stuff. So I run mostly off of aid stations now. I've just learned over the years, again, your mileage may vary depending on the race and the remoteness and things like that. You can rely a lot on the races. You can do the research on those races and figure out what they have, but you need to figure out your nutrition, taking nutrition over running a long time, electrolytes and things like that. Get those figured out, what works for you. Another piece of kind of recovery for me is a massage gun. This has been a game changer with me keeping my lower legs feeling good. You don't want plantar fasciitis and just all the pains from the knee down, thighs, things like that. This is a Bob and Brad. Again, there's a link in the description for this gun. I have a new one that's got a cold and a hot tip that's set on it. That's their newest one. I'm going to be doing a review on that. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I'm going to use it. Talk to you all about it. There's a video on this channel too if you want to see more of an in-depth review. This thing is fantastic. My son uses it. Everybody in my family uses this thing. Great battery life, but this is great for loosening up before going on runs, which I do. Self-care after runs, soreness, loosening up issues you're having with your feet and lower legs. Love this thing, and my neck, everything. I mean, obviously you can use this anywhere. I like the soft tip on this. If you watch the video, love that one. Foam roller. This has been probably the longest piece of recovery equipment I've had. Foam roller. I use this to roll out my feet. So I stand on this like a circus bear and roll my feet out. And that's been part of me keeping plantar fasciitis and all of the ailments with lower leg type issues with running. I roll out my back, my hips, my legs, just all of it. I mean, this thing has been with me the entire time I've been running ultra marathons. It's not the super hard one. I can't find it's soft enough to where I can roll on it. It doesn't feel like I'm hurting myself. And it still hurts, but I'm used to it now. But I've noticed a lot of those ones with the nodes on it, and they're a lot harder. I don't know if I like those as much, but again, I haven't tried those. Again, sticking with what works. This thing works. I think it was bought at like Walmart or something 13 years ago. My wife got it for me. So it works. I don't even know where to get that type of roller, but you can find one out there. They make them. You just got to search and find one that roller. I promise you, it's a game changer when you figure out how to roll out everything you need. Again, I've created videos on that too. Now moving more into kind of the software side. So I'm going to go ahead and share a screen here. Let me go ahead and switch this up. So here we go. Strava. So Strava is an area where you can upload your runs to. And again, this is more about accountability and finding other people in ultra running, because I don't have any local friends that I run with all the time or talk with. So I rely heavily on my channel, Motivation Theory Run Club, to talk with people, and my channel to talk with people to get ideas and do research. So if you want to get into ultras, you can just join Strava. It's free. They got a free version. Joining this Motivation Theory Run Club is free, and there's a lot of other clubs you can join too. And you can post your stats, upload them from your watch. Again, Garmin watch. I don't like to push one brand or another, but again, this is a must-have. Some sort of sports watch. You need to. Oops, keep bumping that. Find a good watch that works for you within your right price range. This is, I would say, probably around $400+. You don't need one for that. But if you like battery life, you're going to have to start paying more when you get in ultras for these more. I wish they would just make a more simplistic running watch with the long battery life. And then this thing does everything: swimming, biking. So this data on here uploads to Strava, as you can see here. And this is where you can come to meet people, share your stats, and get that encouragement. You get a profile on here. So I can go to my profile. And you'll see, you'll get a page. And again, this is free. I have a paid version, but I don't think it's any different, really. You get some more data and stuff like that, but whatever. It gives you all your stats for everything. And yeah, it's a great product, especially for one you can use that's free, and you can just upload that and join in with people. The second part of this is, let me go ahead back to StreamYard. Go back to here. Let me go ahead and present this other. Stop screen sharing. I want to present. Share screen. I'm going to Ultra Sign Up. Now, this is a place where, let me go back here so you can see it too. This is a great place for you to come and search for races. You can search events by difficulty. It will keep track of everything for you when it comes to your races. But you can search participants and events. So if I want to look Virginia, you can start looking up different races in area. I don't know. So yeah, so I can look at a race here. So I can go ahead. Let's look. Let's look at the first one. And you can see the past history results of races, and you can see description of the race. And a lot of times, if the race is open for sign up, you click on here and sign up. But you can also search by difficulty, terrain, and this software is, again, free to use. You can create an account. And whenever you run an ultra, most races dump their data into Ultra Sign Up. So you can come in here and see past results. So you can see all these people here. And if you want to see like these people here that win it, you can see how many races they've run. They don't have a lot, man. That's pretty good for their first race. See, here's one where you can see this person. You can see how many races they've run. And it has ranking and all kinds of stuff. But it's a fantastic tool for obviously finding races and really trying to dial in whether or not you want an easy race, a technical race, races around the world. This is where you want to go. This is the only tool I use for finding races, and it works quite well. Again, I want to stress that what works for you is what works. What works for me is particular to me. You can learn from that, but definitely you're going to have some trial and error, some research and development. Figuring out what works for you is going to be one of the biggest problem-solving things you're going to have to face as an ultra runner. Dialing this stuff in is an art and a science, and it is one of the exciting, more challenging things about ultra running. And then you'll start to finish. You figure out things in races, how to deal with races, and that's why I love this sport. It's not just cookie cutter, get on the road and pound out a couple miles. It is figuring out nutrition, hydration, sleep deprivation, gear, clothing. All these things are just giving you some challenges on top of the physical and mental challenges of ultras. It's a fantastic sport. I encourage everyone to try. If you're a runner and you want to dabble, you can go to a 50K. It's not that much further than a marathon if you're a marathon runner. And I can promise you the culture and the atmosphere around ultra running is so different than road running. And I love my road runners. It's nothing against them, but when you run trails and you hang out with trail runners and these ultras, it's just a different feeling. And you'll get to meet so many people. I've met so many really fantastic people, and you'll really realize that there is no cookie cutter standard type person for ultra running. You'll meet every type of person with every type of body size, every type of background, but we're all brought together by this one common thing, that we love the wilderness, we love distance running, and it's just fantastic. And that's why I have this channel. I want to expose as many people as I can to ultra running. And you could run a 50K and figure this is not for me. Most people fall in love with it. I promise you there will be things you love about being out on the trail, not worrying about time as much, and just having a great conversation with somebody for hours and hiking on trails and seeing nature. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's my therapy. It is my happy place. And I hope that you can find joy somewhere out there on the trails. That's all I have for this. If you have any comments or additions to this for people who are kind of doing the research, leave comments below, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe if you have not, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.